Hello and welcome all of you to the last documentary and major event of 2025, scheduled to premiere before my yearly Christmas dinner statistical analysis video by a couple of hours. I am your host, Brian Mullins the Fox. I am going to venture into the history of the post-roast game theory, the theory of the death of traditional Christmas dinner in both America and Canada, starting with the premiere of the first episode of Season 1 of the post-roast game theory. And to make it simple, let's let an old episode of Season 3 wrap things up in a bow nicely, before I get to do some original commentary before I go and add some more original commentary. Today, I am going to recap how the series has evolved, and let's start with the first one. Number 1, it takes into consideration how my scope of research has changed a lot since the end of the roast game topical arc of 2017 to 2021. From talking about contradictory statistics that don't make any sense, to talking about how stealing statistics from the UK is indicative of the fact that they can't come up with their own country statistics because families lied about what they ate as the centerpiece of Christmas dinner. 2, it takes into consideration Thanksgiving being the best possible example of statistics that are not just readily and easily available and accessible, but put Christmas and even Easter to shame. 3, how consumption statistics have come so far. 4, how waste statistics have come so far. 5, Christmas lies. The best examples are about how the first Christmas was celebrated dinner-wise and how the basis for the holiday has been a lie this entire time. 6, consumption and waste stat predictions for 2022. And finally, number 7, how to finally recap an entire season. Now let's continue with the second one. Number 1, the same aspects and perspectives as the first season, including what I've learned so far in the post-roast game topical arc year of 2022. 2, collecting consumption and waste stats from Christmas of 2022. 3, talking about the dying tradition of traditional Christmas dinner in a commentary segment. 4, ranting and venting off my irritations surrounding the series and anyone who dares to be idiots on the internet or conspiracy theorists while falsely accusing me of such, potentially. I'm not addressing any drama as of recently because there's not much going on. 5, consumption and waste stat predictions for 2023. And finally 6, closing this season with a beautiful montage and iconic closing credits with iconic music in the background. And finally, last but not least, let's recap this season, the third one. Number 1, I recapped the pre-roast game era, 1900 to 1997. 2, I recapped the roast game era, 1998 to 2016. 3, I recapped the post-roast game era, 2017 to present day. 4, collected both consumption and waste stats from the Christmas of 2023. 5, in this season I will vent off about which Christmas will be the last post-roast game one in the next episode. And finally 6, I'll then predict consumption and waste numbers for the Christmas of 2024. And that will do it for this episode, which is episode 6 of Season 3 of the Post-Roast Game Theory. This series has evolved so far, and Season 5 will get to even more important aspects of what will happen by the Christmas of 2026, as if Season 4 hasn't done so already. I've entertained what will happen then multiple times over the years. Here's a great example of one of them.
Why a potential turkey and pork shortage wouldn't be the main cause, in either for the Christmas of either 2026 or 2027. Written and published by Brian Mullins the Fox on October 18, 2023. I'm not narrating this, but I will let some other TTS bot do it for the rest of us. Take it away.
Hypothetically speaking, not to predict the future in any way, but would not be surprising if it's taken that way later on. What if a potential turkey and pork shortage in either 2026 or 2027 isn't the main cause of the potential death of traditional Christmas dinner? What if I told you that at the time this potentially occurs, that I was right all along about it not being the main cause? All of these things you may think are just baseless hypotheticals and no proof, are actually based on statistics, data, and consistency of this unfortunate trend. You would go berserk, you would even think I'm crazy, you'll see. The reason why that wouldn't be the main cause is that although it will have become one of the main causes alone, when there's a shortage, there's an alternative to Christmas dinner entirely. And as tradition stands, as much as it will die without the centerpiece, without it, it really isn't Christmas dinner anymore. Families at that time would either opt for 3 options. 1. A meatless Christmas dinner, which it's only hypothetical. 2. They would opt for just having a normal dinner, on Christmas Day, technically making it Christmas dinner, but it should be preferred to as Christmas Day dinner. Although a morally and culturally jaded history can suggest that there's a reason. Or 3. Opting to go so extreme, and starve themselves for the entirety of Christmas Day, and mark it as a day that will then live in even more infamy than the infamy it has already obtained now. But all in all, this won't be too long or long-winded. But, don't be surprised that eventually there will be another cause to it other than just 2, culture shock or the roast game, or, culturally conflicting dinner preferences. Thank you, and may all of you have a good day.
How it will end is yet to be elaborated upon. So before I sign out, thank you all for the support over the years, and I hope to see you all in 2026. Here are all the predictions I'll leave in for context from Season 4 of the Post-Roast Game Theory. Let's go over the last ever consumption stat predictions for the post-roast game era and for the post-roast game theory before 2026 comes along. Here's the methodology for ham. According to Statista, by 2025, Americans would have consumed a total of 50.9 million pounds. And here we go. Let's go to the methodology. To accurately account for the eventual decline in the pork consumption in the specific context, as in the centerpiece of Christmas dinner, take 50.9 million pounds, divide that by 14 pounds, as in the average weight of a roast ham, and then divide it by 10, as in 10 people per gathering, which is the average for Thanksgiving. Here's the Christmas 2025 ham consumption prediction. In hundreds of thousands, of course. 363,571. Now for turkey was pretty easy. I only divided that number for Christmas ham consumption by 48%. And for the Christmas 2025 turkey consumption prediction in hundreds of thousands is about 757,440 turkeys. Well, those are the 2 last ever consumption statistics. Now, when it comes to prices and all the other stuff, I will cover in this Christmas's yearly analysis for 2025. And before I sign out, I'd love to say thank you all for watching this entire series so far. I can't believe I'm actually able to make predictions this easily without having to do all that math that I used to do so many years ago. In the next episode, we'll go over the last waste stat predictions for the Christmas of 2025, the post-roast game theory as a series, and for the post-roast game topical arc timeline until 2026 comes along. Let's get to the ham waste prediction for the Christmas of 2025. Typically, ham waste comprises of only 48% of the consumption in this context alone. So, 48% of 363,571 hams would get a total number of 174,514 of them wasted. Now let's get to the turkey. 52% of turkey waste is also 52% of the consumption of that turkey. So for the Christmas of 2025, a total of 393,869 of them would be wasted by the Christmas of 2025. Before I conclude this video and episode, I'm going to make this abundantly clear. These will be the last ever consumption and waste stat predictions of this entire series. There won't be any in Season 5 in 2026, and there certainly will never be any for Season 6 in 2027. This is perfect to when I find that this is the case when it comes to the main trend amongst consumers. I would best stop here. I'm Brian Mullins, the Fox, signing out. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Bye.